Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we will do a group reading for BLACKPINK for this year 2021. And if you heard my bird, she is excited apparently. A dedicated BLACKPINK fan right there. Right, Dori, you're a Blink. And then she doesn't say Pio. So today in this group reading we will focus on three sections. The first one will be the current energy that the group is in. The second question will be about their career. And the very last, section we will focus on is any advice that we have for the group. And by we, I mean me, myself, and I. Actually, I'm not alone. I have my new friend, Unicorn, or you can call her Linda, because that's her name, which she's my baby right now. And we have Quack joining us on this session. My hardworking editing Quack. Anyway, so we will start with the first question, which is, how is the group doing right now? I was actually kind of surprised that my new happy cards kind of came out and we're like, we will start this reading. Because BLACKPINK has like this girl crush type of, and it's autofocus. This girl crush type of concept, and I was like, oh, we're gonna get like some badass cards going through, and then my happy ones were like, no, me, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I'll take out one more. So it seems like right now BLACKPINK is pretty happy. We have the Two of Cups starting off this reading, which tells me that they have a pretty good connection with themselves, within the group. And even if the fandom wants to complain that BLACKPINK is not taking any songs out, I am glad that this past year they took out their album. No? So it seems like everyone is pretty content right now. If anything, I guess the potential solos could be like a dent in the fandom. And by a dent, I mean just the uncertainty of not knowing what's coming up next. That's kind of like the energy that I'm feeling right now. But aside from that, currently everyone seems to be pretty content, pretty happy with how things are going. We have the Hangman reverse, so it seems like everyone is in their comfort zone right now, and that's the satisfying part. We have the Hermit reversed, but even though everyone is in, even though all of the members in BLACKPINK are like in the comfort zone, everyone is still going out there and doing new things, because we have the Hermit reverse. We have the Page of Wands and the Eight of Cups reverse. So it kind of feels like everything is kind of stagnant at the moment. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's good or bad. It's just that everything is pretty much the same. And that seems to bring comfort to everyone. The fandom, the company, the members. However, I'm getting that with this Page of Wands that there's this energy of wanting to do something new or getting ideas to try new things. And that could be what they're like aiming for right now. Or like they're in this energy where like they're comfortable where they're at. They're still like looking in the inside, but not going in complete hermit mode, which usually hermit mode is when you kind of isolate and you stay on your own to meditate. Not necessarily figuratively, I guess, It's kind of like you take a time off for yourself and kind of look within you a little bit deeper. But to me right now, it feels like everyone is pretty happy and pretty content with the connections they have with their work, with their fans, with their ideas, their emotions. Seems like currently the group is doing okay by doing what they usually do, staying in that comfort zone. But this Page of Wands is telling me that they're all starting to get like this idea planted in them of taking action towards something a bit different. But currently, with this Eight of Cups reversed, it kind of feels like everyone is taking it slowly and not leaving behind some burdens. Because I'm feeling like it could be the other thing, right? When you have reversals, you usually get the opposite meaning or a blocked energy of the card when it's usually upright. So it kind of feels like there is something good going on, but it could also be that everyone should start looking more within themselves and trying to get to know each other a little bit better. Not each other, but like themselves to like get to know themselves a little bit better, trying to see whatever baggage they have to leave behind. And I'm not too sure what that baggage is per se. So I guess I'll take out some cards to see what these two are all about. Let's see, why is the Hermit reversed here? And why is the Eight of Cups reversed here? Oh, okay. And then my last question is the Page of Wands. Okay. So we got this for the Page of Wands. So to start off, the Hermit reverse is here because of the Four of Pentacles, clarifying it. So that tells me that the group is clinging onto something. So it feels like maybe the formula that they have, or so whatever structure they have is working, whatever model or idea, plan, whatever you want to call it, they have is working. And I feel this is specifically to their work, right? Because I'm seeing them as a group, right? And their career is going to be important. So right now the structure that they have is working, and they don't want to let go of that, or it feels like there's no risks that can be taken because it's working so well. So what's the point? And because of that, there's like this Hermit reverse tells me that some of them should start looking a little bit more within themselves to find a balance, because this baggage that they're not walking away from with this Eight of Cups, it kind of feels like with some of them it's perfectly fine in the sense of they're doing what they have to do and they're content and happy with it, but with others of them they have to find a little bit of balance before they continue going on and taking on like that next step or that new action, or slowly walking towards going more into an authentic self rather than the conventional. And conventional, I mean in like whatever's working for them that they're not stepping away from, and slowly going more towards what they are happy with. So to clarify the Eight of Cups reverse, we have Temperance. And usually Temperance means about finding balance, finding an understanding of the physical world and the spiritual world, or the subconscious and the conscious side. So it kind of feels like some of them have to go through a journey of finding out who they are or what they want to achieve and accomplish in life. And in this case, I mean more towards their career, because I am focusing on BLACKPINK as a group. So it kind of feels that some of them are doing well, so they can continue just they can start going on this like energy of Page of Wands, starting to get those ideas of how to take action and how to move forward towards something new, while others of them have to do more of like a journey of understanding themselves a little bit more to know what they want to move forward towards in that case, right? But to clarify the Page of Wands, I took out two cards, and we have, well, two cards just kind of popped out. I wanted one. And we have the Star reverse, and then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So it feels like the Page of Wands is encouraging the group to go towards something that makes them happy, something that makes them feel cared for, or makes them feel satisfied, makes them feel like they're enjoying life, and they're working towards a luxury of enjoying creativity, beauty, and just life in general, because this is Taurus energy. So that's kind of what it feels like but it also feels like being very stable and very fixed in whatever they value as individuals, because we have Aquarius and Taurus energy, and they're both fixed signs. Not to mention that this Star card reverse tells me that's kind of feels like many of them have to start chasing their dream, whatever dream it is that they have in mind, may it be music or not music like related. So it kind of feels that BLACKPINK is like currently reaching that point where everyone has to start looking for what they want to do with life and what their goals are. That doesn't necessarily mean that BLACKPINK is like disbanding or anything. It just means that everyone will probably start focusing on themselves as individuals, and also bring those new things they have learned on their own towards the the word I'm thinking of is betterment, or for the improvement of the group. So it doesn't feel necessarily bad. It's just that it's just a little bit of improvement and working on themselves that is like going through here currently. Currently, they're all working on that, trying to understand themselves a little bit better. Some know exactly where they're going, so they're going down that path, while others of them are still trying to understand where they're coming from and where they want to go. So that's currently how it feels like it's going for Blackpink. But with that, I will go on to the second question, which is what's in store for Blackpink's career for 2021. So as a group, what do we see for Blackpink? Damn, okay. I just moved the camera. Whoops. 2 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and a bunch of cards over there. I'll take them all. I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. So let's see. So the first card that popped out was the 10 of Cups. Then we have the 2 of Pentacles and a bunch of cards that just came up. The other cards that we have is the 2 of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Page of Swords. Here, I'll put them 3 and 3. 3 and 3. So it kind of feels like for their career, they're going to have a lot of balancing to do, a lot of happiness, because we have the 10 of Cups. Oh, it's out of focus. So the 10 of Cups tells me that that the group is going to feel very satisfied and content with this year that's coming up. Well, we're already in 2021, but what the rest of the year has to offer, it feels like many of them are going to be very happy. Many of them are going to be emotionally fulfilled because of that 10 of Cups. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them maybe find a romantic partner they're going to be very happy with, and others of them are going to just fall in love with themselves or fall in love with their work. So whatever it is that is bringing them happiness is working. Not working as in like career related, I mean as in like it's going to benefit their career, because right now we're focusing on their work. The 2 of Pentacles tells me that they're all going to be very balanced, very satisfied, very centered in themselves. It feels like many of them will be able to balance multiple things at the same time. So maybe themselves and their work, or maybe their relationships with other people and with themselves, maybe what they subconsciously want to do versus what they're actually doing. So stuff like that. They're doing a pretty good job at balancing everything within themselves. Because we have another 2, which is the 2 of Wands. In this case, it feels like many of them are going to starting to think the way they can expand into their horizon, right? They're all looking at what they have and trying to figure out how can they do better or be better, or try to expand in the business sense. So maybe some of them are already thinking of what new ideas they can do, or they're thinking of the new things they can bring in for the group, or they're starting to think maybe other ways they can make the group a lot more well-known, or a lot more creatively put more ideas for the group to express in their music, in their concepts, in their visuals, stuff like that. So it feels like many of them are starting to think of how they can improve themselves and how they can make things better, how to expand whatever it is that they already have, which is very similar to what we saw in their current energy. Like it feels like many of them are like they're well established and they're ready to just take on the next step of expanding even more. So it feels like this year they will be able to accomplish that, whatever it is that they're doing, and the best part is that they're all going to stay very centered in who they are, and they're going to stay also very centered in the sense that they're going to be very authentic, sincere, genuine. And I'm not necessarily going to say that it's easy, but it helps that they are very sure of who they are as individuals, and because of that, any change allows them to just go through with it. It doesn't feel like anyone's feeling dragged at all. But anyway, we have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. So I do feel that it's like a fast moving energy, because these are the two of the most dynamic knights that we have, which is, half of them. And knights are the energy of mutable signs, which in here we have opposites. We have a Sagittarius and Gemini energy. So again, this is a balancing thing, and also we have pairs. So that could be a thing that is important within the group. Or it could be because number 2 is following me. I keep seeing 222 on the clock. Maybe 1222 or just 222, or maybe just random numbers as I'm playing, or whatever, it's following me. So it could be me, my energy, as I am the one shuffling the cards, as much as it could also be significant to them, which is balancing energy, which could also mean having harmony, and I think also prosperity. I have a feeling that they're getting a lot of good things coming their way. So I do feel with this opposite signs that there's another sense of balance, because usually opposite signs tend to have a little bit of conflict, but it could also have a nice balance, right? So we have some people that are trying to expand outside of their comfort zone, and then we have some other people that are more contained and just learning a lot of different things but maybe not giving it the depth that it needs, which the Sagittarius energy will try to bring a little bit more depth and purpose to whatever it is that they learn. So here is like we have knowledge, and here we have wisdom, if you want to put it that way. And with the 2 knights, it feels like it's very fast moving energy that is just going with the flow. So I do feel that it's kind of like life's purpose, or in this year is going to be a very quick year for BLACKPINK. And what I mean by that is that it's going to constantly, a lot of things are going to be happening. There's going to be a lot of changes, which for blinks, I'm not too sure how that will look for you necessarily. Like, I'm not too sure if you guys will feel overwhelmed with all the things you're getting, or if it will just be a lot faster than what you guys are used to, right? I'm not too sure what that necessarily will look like, but I do know that it's going to be very fast moving. So I do feel that you guys are going to get like one thing after another, after another, after another. I also have this feeling of like being out of breath. So it could mean that there's a lot of ideas going through, or there's a lot of action that has to be taken, and because of that, there's just so much that can be done because of the energy you have to put into it. Maybe the ideas that have to be physically brought down and put in and like getting made, like all of that feels like it's going to take time, it's going to take a lot of effort. So I usually don't point out the stones that I have for the group, but this time we have, I don't know the names of all of them, but they're all kind of like orange and red. So, I mean, I don't know what that one is, but I have 2 citrines, 2 carnelians, a sunstone, and an ocean jasper. So to me, that feels that it kind of shows that many of them are working from their from their sacral chakra, which means that all of them are working towards what they're passionate about, what makes them happy and satisfied, whatever they're motivated and driven to do in this year. So it kind of feels like that was necessary to mention, because there's a little bit of red here and a bit of pink with some blue. So that tells me that many of them are working from their heart space and taking action towards whatever goal they have in mind, and they're doing it from a place of passion and motivation. So whatever it is that it's driving them through their career, they're going to go through with it, and it's going to come from a heart space, which means that it's going to be something that is going to be emotionally fulfilling, and it's going to be something they're very passionate about, and something that they are going to put a lot of work and effort into. So if it is true that BLACKPINK is going to start having like their solo stuff, it makes sense as to why many of them are trying to put a lot of effort into that project, because they're all working together by doing their own thing, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's necessarily bad, and I do feel that the more each member is doing what is true to them, or whatever feels right for them, then they will succeed. If any of them are doing, because that's the most popular thing, or that's the common thing, or whatever, then many of them will technically be out of their comfort zone by staying in the conventional comforting zone, if that makes sense. So that tells me that they will be more successful individually if they do what they love to do. So if they continue what they're passionate about, and will make them emotionally fulfilled. That's kind of what I feel. And lastly, we have the Page of Swords. So that feels like a new beginning of a new way of communicating. So pages are all about communication, and to me it feels like the only warning I see for Blackpink for this 2021 is for them to not be reckless. So what I mean by that is don't take out anything just for taking it out. It's just more like take your time if you need it. Don't pressure yourself on. There's like a healthy amount of pressure you can have before it's, of course, too overwhelming, right? So I have a feeling that the message here for their career is continue pushing yourself forward. So you start, taking action and doing things, but don't rush the message. I guess that's the idea. Like whatever message they want to communicate out to the public, don't push it. If you don't have it, it's fine. Just continue doing your own thing, like improving your skills. So like that, you have all the materials ready to give out that message, whatever that could be. Because a Page of Swords is a new beginning. It's usually a very young baby energy, and in this case, because it's swords, is new ideas and new forms of communication, which is like the thing I'm getting the most out of that card, a new form of communication. So through their career, they're all going to figure out an emotionally fulfilling way and balancing themselves to slowly go out of their comfort zone, slowly expanding their horizons and going on to do something new, which will be a new form of communication. And by that, it means specifically to them, a new form of expressing themselves, a new form of giving out a message to the public. So it's not necessarily groundbreaking in general, but it will be important and relevant to Blackpink and them as individuals. So with that, I kind of wanted to do a little bit more and take out individual, cards for each member to see what each member will experience this 2021. And I will start with Jisoo. So let's see, what do we have in store for her career-wise? What does life have in store for Jisoo this 2021 career-wise? This will be for Jisoo. Now for Jennie. Oh, that one seemed kind of quick. So this will be for Jennie. Now for Rose. And lastly for Lisa. Let's see what this year has in store for Lisa. Ooh, my hand just trembled because I thought I folded one of my cards. Oh, that was scary. Okay, so for Jisoo we have the bat. So that tells me that this year, for Jisoo's career, what life has in store for her is wisdom, or a way of rooting her ideas. It feels also like take flight. So, because this is air, so it feels like this year her whole goal or her career will focus on a way of communicating, will focus on a way of expressing and grounding her ideas, will be a way to physically manifest whatever it is that she's thinking, or physically express what she is feeling and believing. It also feels like Jisoo's going to express difficulties, or is going to help a lot of people by guiding them in some sort of way. So I feel that whatever Jisoo's going to do is going to be very relatable to a lot of people this year, or a lot of people will be able to see where she's coming from or understand what she's going through. So this year it feels like she's just focusing, or what life has in store for her is that new form of communication, a way of grounding herself and rooting whatever ideas, emotions she has in mind. Because to me, it feels like she is going from, the guidance comes from like the moon that you see right there. So it's like there's some guidance, some light that is being shed upon all the subconscious, all of this darkness. And when I mean darkness, I just mean it could be a difficult period as much as it could just be an area where there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowns, a lot of hesitation. So it feels like she's like venturing more towards her subconscious, so more of what she feels and what she knows almost instinctively, rather than what we subconsciously tend to do. So I guess leaving her ego a little bit behind. And when I mean ego, I don't mean like I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way. I mean like what we all have, right? the side of ourselves that tends to be scared, the side of ourselves that holds us back sometimes. That's the ego part that I'm talking about in this case. So the next person we have is Jenny. We have the hyena. So that tells me that one of two things. The first one that I kind of got right away was that Jenny was going to take out a concept about black and white and the in-between. So it kind of feels like it's not going to be necessarily basic in the sense of like, oh, look, two energies working together. It feels more like understanding that gray area, understanding that in between, right? That things are not always black and white, and being confused by that. It also feels like Jenny's going to do something more serious, but definitely something she's passionate about because we have fire. It also feels like it's going to be both. It's going to be very Jenny, if that makes sense. Like, it's going to be very her. I don't necessarily know what that means, but whatever it is that she has for her career is going to be very her. It's going to be whatever people think of when they think of Jenny, or it's going to represent her from the very core. It also feels like there's a duality. So there was a duality within BLACKPINK's like group career thing for this year. So I have a feeling that one of the people that's probably going to push that idea the most is going to be Jenny, because we have the two sides of the moon. You know, the one that is lit up and the one that isn't. We have fire, so that's taking action, passion. What else am I feeling? It feels also that there's this, not necessarily snarky, but there's this feeling of like kind of being empowered and in her career. Like, how should I put it? I feel like if Jenny was to take out a concept or was going to take out a song on her own, she will kind of like smile or show that your surroundings could be like crumbling down, but you can still stay strong and powerful within all that mess, if that makes sense. Because if you look at the hyena, you see like this smile and this fear face, and to me it kind of feels like she will express how even if you're walking through the unknown, and even though you're walking through fears and walking through a lot of mysteries, you can still be centered in your own self and be powerful. And what I mean powerful in this case is just understanding that you can't control your environment, but you can definitely control the way that you look at it, or the way that you see it, or the way that you're going through with all those changes, if that makes sense. So I feel that that's more like of a message of what she's going to take out for her career rather than something that's happening to her. The next person we have is Rose, and we have a whale. So I do feel that Rose is going to take some in her career. She's going to focus on something very, very big. This whale to me always feels like something big that is like slowly making its way towards you. The whale usually means going very deep into your subconscious, because you see the whale going towards something dark. And then we have yellowish blue, so not much green, it's more like yellow and blue. So that means that Rose is going to find a way of expressing her solar plexus, which is confidence, optimistic ideas, and confidence. So I feel she's going to express that with the blue, which is the throat chakra. So I do have a feeling that Rose will probably, in her career, express and communicate and sing something that shows her confidence, or what makes her confident or happy and optimistic in life. So I think Rose is going to see through her career the way to communicate all of that goodness that she has, all of the positive vibe that she has as well. And I think it's going to be big because we have a bit of red. So I guess that we have like purple and red right here. So it's kind of like the crown and the third eye. So it feels like whatever message on the surface level is going to be happy, confidence, and communicating that. But I feel that deep down, if you analyze it a little bit deeper, you will see the whole purpose of her, I guess, a big important role in her life. Or I think her life purpose in a way is going to show through, because we have the crown and the third eye, so it feels like she's going to go very deep within herself, or this change that is coming towards her is going to take her to that hermit mode, right? To know who she truly is and understand who she really is, to be able to express that message, right? If you want to express a message of happiness, optimism, and confidence, you kind of have to be in that energy, feel happy, confident, and optimistic. So I do have a feeling that life will take her to a very big change, which could be very difficult as much as it could just be a process, right? You just go through it. So I do feel that it's going to be very big. It's a massive project that life has for her this 2021. And I don't necessarily know how it's going to go for Rose. We will see in her individual reading when it comes up. But yeah, we have the symbol for water, so that tells me that it's a lot of spiritual work, creativity, and emotional work that has to go through in order to deliver this message. Next, we have Lisa, and hers is also an air sign. We have Peacock, so that tells me that Lisa's also going to work on something colorful, it feels. Colorful and bright. That's like the message that I'm getting right away. Colorful and bright. And it's a lot of airiness, so a lot of communication, because we have we have blue and green, and we have eyes as well as yellow, right? So we're going to have a lot of confidence, a lot of genuine and sincerity because of that green, which is a heart space, the heart chakra. The heart chakra is actually green, but some people also see pink as a sub chakra of the heart. I don't really know much about that. I just heard that once and I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. But anyway, that yellow also tells me again confidence and optimism, happiness, shining bright like the sun. That's kind of what I'm getting. What is the other thing that I'm feeling? It feels like Lisa's going to focus in her career, or she's going to have a lot of public attention on her. So I do feel that whatever Lisa does in her career, maybe take out a concert with BLACKPINK or individual work or whatever Lisa does this year, is going to bring a lot of attention on her. Like, a lot of eyes are going to be on her. A lot of people are going to look out to see what she's doing. A lot of people are going to be expecting a lot from her, and she's going to be under the spotlight a lot this year. What else am I getting? I feel that Lisa's gonna have her heart on her sleeve. She's going to show a very genuine side of herself, and I mentioned that whoever does that the most, being very genuine about who they are, will succeed the most this year. So I do feel that the one that has that very clear is Lisa. I do feel as well that when you look at her, you see the confidence she radiates, and that is very attractive for people, and it's going to be very important in her career. I do feel that there's this sense of, I keep feeling that the word blurry is important, so I don't know if there's this sense of like pushing boundaries or blurring the lines or breaking structure. So maybe Lisa's going to, in her career, she's going to break free and do something that is very her, very unique to her and what she believes in and what she wants to do in life. I'm not too sure if that's what it means by the word blur, because I feel like that's very important. And you know what would be funny? If there's a song that BLACKPINK takes out and it's called Blur. That would be funny. I don't know. I feel like that's important, but I'm not too sure why. Anyway, with that, let's go on to the last section, which is any advice for BLACKPINK. Let's see what advice there is for BLACKPINK for this year. I don't know how many cards I'm taking out this time, because I usually like a bunch come out, but we'll see. I feel that with them it's very clear. Like, it's very clear what messages they're getting. Like, I feel like I already gave their advice in the career one. So we have hummingbird spirit, be here now, and lion spirit, be generous to spirit. So that tells me right away that they have to, of course, be in the present, be focused on themselves, be very conscious of what their physical world and their environment is all about, But the whole thing about be generous with spirit, it feels like as long as they're working from their heart space, considering all the green, they will be on the right path, if that makes sense. And when I mean the right path, I mean their life purpose, or whatever it is, whatever messages that have to go through for them, whatever lessons they have to learn. So as long as they're working from their heart, as long as they're doing what they want to do, not necessarily when I mean what they want to do, I don't necessarily mean like I know what I want. Sometimes you have to do things that are a bit difficult, and not everyone wants to do those things. So I do feel that it's more about following what they're passionate about, what they're happy with, what brings them the emotional stability and fulfillment they're looking for, and that's technically like the right path for them. The next card that we have is the Badger Spirit. Be fearless and bold. Definitely, I do feel that many of them are pretty much in that energy already, in the energy of I do what I want, I do it how I want it, or they're showing that energy of powerful woman, right? And that's what we love here. We love powerful women. And I think all of them individually are working on expressing that themselves, right? Whatever form they want to do it, that's how they're doing it. And they all seem to be very good at expressing that. So if anything, I think they're doing well for that, and life is just kind of saying, continue doing that. You're doing well, continue with that. Next, we have the Turtle Spirit. Slow and steady wins the race. So I do feel that even though many of them are bold and fearless, it should not be reckless. Again, this whole idea of don't rush the message with the Page of Swords that we got earlier. So to me, it kind of feels that many of them may be ready, as in like of doing like their own work individually. And when I mean work in this case, I don't mean like music career wise. I mean more in the sense of their spiritual work, their inner work, their self work. So working towards your fears, working towards what you don't want to see about yourself, good or bad. Working towards feeling confident with yourself and loving yourself. That type of energy, right? But it also feels like they shouldn't rush that, because everyone has to take their time, however long they have to take. As long as they're not blocking themselves, they should be fine on how slow or fast they're going. If anything, if they go too fast, life may be like, look, hold down a little bit. We have not rearranged the energies, or we haven't set up the path for you to take yet. So, slow down a little bit. So I do feel that with some of them, they're personally okay with themselves and they're ready to take on the next step. And when that is ready, they should go for it. And with others of them, it's more like, if you want to take your time to go towards your hermit mode, and again, isolating yourself to get to know yourself better, and that self-love and that self-care, all of that, then there's like this green light of go ahead, take your time. We'll set up your environment to be perfectly where it has to be for you to continue moving forward. That's kind of like the message that I'm getting. Like, they can take their time. They don't have to rush themselves too quickly. As long as they're stable, though. They do have to work towards being stable with themselves, so they can continue with all those changes that bring a lot of stability and instability, in the sense that it's shaking everything, right? It's moving everything, and that could be difficult. The next message that we have is the Skunk Spirit. Know your worth. So definitely, I feel like there's a very strong message with BLACKPINK about knowing who you are. Like, there's this very strong message for all four of them to center themselves, so they know where they want to go, what they want to do, how they want to get there, and who they are as individuals from the inside out. What they say, what they feel, how they think of things, all of that. That's very important. Like, I feel that this year the advice is that as long as they know who they are, everything else is going to come into place. Everything else will make sense. Everything else in life will be not easy, just a little bit simpler. So it's not gonna be necessarily a smooth, easy ride as much as it's going to be a little bit more welcoming, I guess you could say. The next card that we have is the Lizard Spirit. Dream the world into being. I do feel that life wants to encourage all of BLACKPINK to just dream big. And when I mean dream big in this case, I do feel that if they want to express a certain emotion, or they want to express an idea or a concept, life is like, go ahead. Think of all of the things that you want to think of, it will manifest eventually. If you, for example, if one of them wants to make a very complex concept, they can go ahead and go through with that. Just know that it's going to take a while to make it true and physically manifest it. But aside from that, it doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means it's going to take a little bit longer to put all the pieces together, because it could take a lot of energy and power to translate emotions and ideas onto paper, if that makes sense. And let's take out 2 more cards of advice for Blackpink. Let's see what we have. I'm leaning towards one here. We have the Horse Spirit. So freedom is yours. Again, I feel like these cards kind of show and say, be a powerful individual, know who you are, know where you want to go, and that freedom is yours. Is kind of like, right now they're all going to, seems like all of Blackpink is very happy and satisfied, because I have a very strong feeling that right now they're their own boss in a way, or right now they have the creative freedom to do their next concept or their next project or whatever it is they're focusing on right now in their career. So it feels like it's very balanced, it's very open, it's like working with other people to make something happen, because you have 2 3s right here, so it's like a pair again, but 3. So it's like working with other people, working with life and spirit. So it all feels, I almost dropped a card. It all feels very good. Oh no, the card bent a little bit. So the last card that we have is the Rhino Spirit, overcome any obstacle. So these cards kind of go hand in hand with this one as well, right? So it kind of goes like, do what you want to do. Again, this whole idea of working from your heart space, working from a very genuine place, which will bring them a lot of emotional fulfillment, which we saw with the 10 of Cups in the previous area. And it also feels that with this overcome any obstacle, 50, if you add up the numbers, you get 5. So that 5 is all about change. So I do feel that this whole thing of overcome any obstacle kind of goes with the freedom is yours. So it kind of goes like, as long as you are the individual that you are, as long as you're very true to yourself, as long as you know who you are, you should be able to overcome any obstacle, because you know if you're holding yourself back, or if life is warning you to not move forward, or if life is telling you, give us a little bit of time to set up everything before you move forward, or stuff like that. If all of Blackpink knows where they want to go, how they want to go there, and what they need to get there. So if they are very confident with who they are as individuals, it will help them a lot, because they will not hold themselves back. They won't be like pointing fingers at like who is the one to blame as to why they're not succeeding, or as to why they're not moving forward, or as to why things are not working out, because everyone will know where they're standing and who they are, and that will help them be like, no, it's not this person's fault, it's my fault, because I'm afraid of taking out the next step, or I still don't know how to physically manifest this idea, or stuff like that. So I do feel like that's the biggest message for them. The biggest message of advice for Blackpink is, know who you are and you will succeed. That kind of thing, right? Be very genuine with your work by showing, I guess, their heart, or showing who they are, or expressing something from way deep within them, I guess. So if anything, I do think this year is going to be a very good year for Blackpink. I do think many of them will be able to express themselves in new, different ways that they haven't done before. I do feel that if all of them are going to take like individual songs or anything, they're going to succeed if they're showing a very genuine side of themselves. I do feel as well that this year it's going to be a very good year career-wise for Blackpink, and if anything, I think they're going to continue succeeding this year. I did not feel any heaviness, like nothing too heavy in the group that will make me be like, ooh, they're kind of blocked. If anything, it kind of felt like there's only one individual that will struggle a little bit with her communication, but we'll see with her individual rating how that works out and how that pans out a little bit, because the whale was the only time I kind of felt my throat choking up a little bit, and not of like, oh, I'm gonna cry, more of the I feel like I can't speak because my throat is hurting a little bit. So I do think there's only one area that is gonna struggle a little bit more than everybody else. But aside from that, it feels like it's going to be a very promising year for Blackpink this 2021. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say for this. So I hope all of you guys like this video. Blackpink is like the first group I'm kind of venturing out of the groups that I'm comfortable with, and I kind of know. I don't necessarily like know each one individually, so I just kind of wanted to venture out and see how other groups were going to work out, and this is the year to do that. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. We'll see what actually comes true and like what doesn't come true. And right now I'm kind of like, I don't know what else to say besides, I guess, thank you for watching, and also thank you to everyone that has been supporting the channel, and for anyone new that may be coming towards this channel, since I'm going to start doing some new groups. And yeah, I'll leave that there. Love and healing from my part to you, and I think you should be expecting individual ratings pretty soon. But with that, I'll see you on the next one.